nationally, again, the qualifier there is nationally. There was this mini furor over his 4-year, $100 million contract. I think, one, the people still need to look at these deals in the context of what the salary cap is about to be. And less than 20% of the salary cap or about 20% of the salary cap for Anfernee Simons is fine. I also think he's viewed as just someone who is a good scorer, an excellent, his catch and shoot like 3-pointer is just, it's money. And then he's also shown it dipped a little bit last year, and a part of that I think was just the extra responsibility. But he's a good like off the dribble jump shooter as well, like someone who can hit the pull up three at a fairly high level, especially when he's playing off Dame. That's not even something that CJ did at the volume Anfernee Simons can. And there's no compare, like CJ McCollum's in between game was just like a hot knife through butter, so smooth. So, but what is it like? What else did you see from him maybe last year after the Dame injury? Or even just overall since he's been in Portland, about where he's actually improved that people do not talk enough about?
Well, I think you're absolutely right in his, pull up threes. It's just, he's got a beautiful shot and it goes in, and like that's what we want. We want somebody on the team who other teams are wanting to guard. And I think one of the most important things that Anfernee did last year is let everybody know that you need to guard me. And that's going to help Damian a lot. It's going to help a lot of other people a lot. Watching him handle the ball and be the floor general, it was great to see that he was able to do that. Even there was this really short, like 4-game stretch before everybody got shut down. And where the healthy players were still healthy playing. It was before, we saw a lot of bench players, and they played really well. And he did a really good job of, playmaking in that. I don't know that how long he would have been able to do that after teams started planning for him. I think part of it is people were like not really scouting him as much during that brief period, and they would have started to do that more. But it was nice to see that he can run an offense. So I don't know if, how much people are talking about that. I'm excited this season to see. I've been trying to figure out what's the difference between Dame and CJ and Dame and Anfernee. And I think what I've settled on is that Dame and CJ were like 2 point guards that were taking turns. And Damian was the lead point guard. But then, a couple of possessions when they were in there together, CJ would play the point guard. And they like kind of took turns playing that point guard. And I think that what we might see is a little bit more of Damian playing the point guard and Anfernee playing the shooting guard, and like truly being in that position and being, mindful of that from the get-go. That I think that kind of goes back to that whole connectivity thing, because when you're thinking about 2 point guards taking turns, they're not like super connected. They are in the way that they understand like who's got the ball and who's going to be like running this set or whatever. But I'm looking for that connectivity where they move the ball around a lot, because, they're running their plays and they are looking for that additional pass. So I think it's going to be really great to see Dame and Anfernee playing together. And what I hope is that it looks different from what Dame, I loved watching, like you said, watching him drop people was so much fun. But I think this might be in the long run a better combination.
I think you're right too. And there's also, I think you basically alluded to this. It feels more organic because of how used to Simons is, one, working off the ball, and two, spending a lot of time beyond the arc and taking shots that way. And I also think, and this is, you mentioned his passing as a floor general. That is one of his biggest areas of improvement. They're not like he's not throwing Luka Doncic, James Harden, like one-handed bullets, but like he is reacting quickly to what defenses are throwing at him. And part of that, I think, too, is while he still doesn't get to the rim a ton, he is more explosive on his drives. And he actually shot, I was looking before, it was like 53% on drives after the Dame injury. And so what's mixed into there is like, those were some pretty rough games that he played in after the Dame injury as well. So the fact that there was almost probably less space available, I think that's big for the pairing, to where CJ's game, not that it's stalled out, it was built to work in the in-between specifically. I think Anfernee Simons is going to give you a lot more explosion and maybe an extra level when you look at going downhill than CJ did. And so that's just more natural to me than, and look, the Dame CJ pairing was pretty natural. It was good, but I just think that the Simons Lillard one, to me, it has a higher ceiling on the offensive end than the CJ Dame one did.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think it might have a higher ceiling.
Are you concerned about, or is this just same old, like we have these two, allegedly two small guards? Anfernee Simons might be 6'8".
Could be medium, a small and a medium.
Yeah, so he could be all defense. That's where he's at. But are you concerned about that aspect of this at all, or do you think that the Blazers have surrounded them with enough of defensive talent to make it work?
This could just be me buying what they're selling me, but I think that they have added more defensive capabilities. And I also think that if Damian is feeling better, that he could improve on that end and, maybe might be able to bring a little bit more to the table than he was in the last couple of years. So I'm hopeful. Let's say it that way. I'm hopeful that the Blazers have added the right amount of defensive players without sacrificing too much of their offensive style.